I don't know where. Hey, how's it going, Greg?
Good morning, my friend. How are you? Good to see you again.
How you doing?
Good.
Okay. What is this, Sam.gov? Man, this is going to be no fun if we don't have somebody here that needs to get registered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm registered.
Short meeting.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll still do it, but I'll have to do it through my account. So much more fun if I do it through somebody else's. Nyanza, you already registered?
Yes.
Oh, darn.
Can I put stuff on that?
Absolutely. Yep. You can make that whole table your table.
Oh, so you special like that, huh?
Yep.
What make you special like that?
Well, there's special.
You see the
and then
name on
there's
his
special.
banner there?
I know,
That-
that's my friend right there. I know who that is.
There's special and then there's special, you know, like the ones where you go, well, bless your heart.
Oh, yeah. You know what? My pastor said, whenever somebody said, oh, bless their heart, he said, condescending, it ain't genuine.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, well, I'm in the second category.
That's my friend. I always welcome him, make sure he gets what he needs while he's here.
Where is everybody? This is unusual that we've got everyone late.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in last meeting, they rolled in at the last minute, so I'm sure they will this time too. So I'm going to be positive.
Saturday, my Dress for Success meeting,
Mm-hmm.
started out with 15, 20 women. By the end of the meeting, we had 52 people. But they wanted to see, we had Financial Peace University there, and so they were speaking on behalf of your money.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Ramsey. It was incredible. So,
Dave Ramsey was there. That's a huge draw.
well, Dave, he wasn't there, but his people were there.
Okay. Yeah. Okie dokie. Oh, I probably need to write down my username and password in case nobody else shows up. Oh, flag dog.
I need to go to a hotel and just sleep.
Can I move this just a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Feel free to do whatever you need to with it. Make it obvious. What am I doing? I am looking for.
Hey, lady, I didn't receive the information. I didn't receive your information that you said you just emailed me. I did not receive the information that you sent. I don't know, Cherie, but we've had such problems. Let me see this. Not in either one of my emails, baby. Let me go. Whoa, whoa. Hold on. Let me just see you go.
Hey, I was wondering if it was just going to be me.
Wait a minute.
How are you?
I got it on.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
See what I mean?
Password has expired.
Enterprises.com.
Flag dog. Hi. Have you already registered in SAM yet?
I did.
Darn.
I came.
I know, that's okay. I mean, it's not a bad thing. You've already registered in SAM as well, right?
No, we were right before the name change.
Oh,
So they
that's
said,
right.
Yeah.
Has that come through yet?
No.
I want a guinea pig. I want a guinea pig. Hey, Gloria.
Hey, Gloria. So did you get the certification that they were selling you? Or the little course or whatever? For capability statements?
I did,
How
yeah.
did that turn out?
I did last week, so I did it. And I
Good morning.
started last week.
How are you?
I was studying already.
Yeah, I'm Myra.
Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday workshop. My name is Pamela. Hey, Craig, you got a special table in the back there? Yes.
We told him we could be special, but that's
Yeah,
not
okay. So yeah, everyone is Craig Lacey in the back. He's one of our sponsors with Southstar, so he'll get a chance to speak at the end. But I just wanted to welcome you all. Thank you all for coming out today for the Wednesday workshop. And before we get started with the workshop, I do have a few announcements. One is, the main thing I want to make sure you all know is that next month, March 28th, the Global Supplier Small Business Seminar is happening right here. We're partnered with Women in Defense, NDIA, and YGL, which is the Young Government Leaders, who are all coming together to put on a fantastic small business event where we're going to have prime contractors looking to do work with you. And those prime contractors include if you do anything in trucking, real estate, property management, hospitality, renovations, whatever, even IT services, it doesn't matter. These businesses need you as a small business owner. So every bit of these different workshops that we're doing are steps to help you build up and make sure that you are prepared for these government contracts and also these prime contractors who are looking to do work with you. I want to announce a few other workshops that we have coming up. We'll be having on March 7th, the capability, how to create a capability statement, and how to do a capability briefing. And what those entail are basically make sure you have like a resume ready, government paper, document resume per se, I would say, to present yourself to a prime contractor. And Tony will be helping out with that. I understand that you'll be helping to create those beautiful capability statements and doing that workshop. I know, right? Brag on her. We're doing that workshop with Abe on March 7th. And then on March 14th, we'll have the capability video and website. Yeah, capability video and website. So all of these are different artifacts that you need to have in place before you come on March 28th for that wonderful event. So without further delay, I'll now like to introduce to you all Ms. Myra Cisse. Ms. Myra is our certification specialist. She is also the owner of Certification Consultants. She has a 20-year banker history, and she's now becoming fast a crypto expert, and it's just having a fun time with that. Are you Miss Sharonda? Hey, yay, she made it. I was trying to wait for you to get here. Yay. Been talking to Sharonda for a while. You are amongst family and friends. These are also members of GCA. So yeah, make sure you all tell her how great GCA is. I've been telling her for the past 2 months, but I don't think she believe me yet. Okay. But she's finally here, so I'm glad you made it. And but anyway, like I was saying, Myra will be teaching today on how to register in SAM. This is one of the most important classes. I don't even understand why this room is not full to understand how to register in SAM. People pay thousands of dollars to get registered in SAM. They'll pay somebody else all this money to get registered. And it's not difficult, it is time consuming. So with that being said, I'm gonna end my speech here and let Myra get into teaching you all how to get registered in SAM. Okay? All righty, guys, I'm so excited that you're here. And I'm trying to see if I've got a willing guinea pig. So who here is not registered in SAM yet? Okay, and of those that raised your hand, how many of you have a DUNS number? Okay, and how many of you have an EIN number for the business? And have a business bank account and have the account information details that you can get access to? Okay, so I want, well, and you're still working on the name change, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
It's just that.
Okay, because it's up to you. I'll let y'all fight it out. But I'd like to, if you're okay with it, use one of your two companies as my example so that everyone else can follow along with it. And then that way, the benefit for you is that it's done. So, yeah. But because mine is already done, so if I go through, you're not going to get the full experience. But going through with somebody brand new, then we can do that. Okay. There,
Is this your first time with us?
Yes, yes.
Oh, welcome,
okay.
Thank you.
And you are?
Alessio.
Okay. You're among family too.
Okay. So, let's see how we're gonna do this, because we've got to get you, and does your phone have access to email? Okay, gotcha, because we've got to get started by creating an account and all that. But I'm gonna go through like anybody brand new. So for those of you who are brand new and are getting set up in SAM, thank you. For those of you who are brand new getting set up in SAM, then please take copious notes, because you're going to be following these exact same steps as you go through the process yourself, okay? So I know you're still probably getting your bank account details and information, but hey, how's it going? Are y'all in SAM yet? Okay, cool. So good stuff. So pull out your laptop, because you can actually walk through all the stuff that I'm going to be doing today. Okay, so we're going to actually create an account, individual account, and then I'm going to ask you, I'm going to unplug the thing so people won't see your username and password thingy, and have you come over here. Oh, you're searching for the account number? Oh, do you happen to have do you have any business tax returns that would be in a Dropbox somewhere? Okay. Oh, did I forget to start the broadcast? Now, I'm sorry, guys. Yes, thank you for joining us online. I'm sorry I didn't have you set up before, so please raise your hand if you can hear me. We've got third eye. Oh, goody. Okay, great, awesome. So we're going to be actually doing the SAM registration, and we've got a guinea pig here in the office, so we'll be walking through their registration online. Okay, so we're waiting for, I don't know how to lower the hands again. Oh, there we go. Okay. And what's your first name again?
Sure.
Thank you. Heronica. Last name? Oh, double F, Barcliff, okay. And I'll let you do the rest of this. Okay.
Yeah, Georgia State website.
Oh, it's not gonna be on Secretary of State.
I don't even, I should know about heart. If anyone else wants to go, they can. I just don't
Okay.
know my EIN number.
Oh.
I have
I was gonna
two
say,
businesses.
Now,
so-
did you, and I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Alessio.
Alessio?
Yes,
Do you have an EIN number?
I do.
Do you have a DUNS number?
No.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she was.
She was just going through a name change, and that would mean that we would go in and do it all, and then we have to go back to DUNS and change the name and then wait for the update,
That's
which
what
is.
that's what we did.
I should have brought my
Seriously?
folder. Listen.
Okay, yeah, so it's just calm down, take a deep breath. There's a place where you can find it, I'm sure. Is your CPA responsive?
She normally is.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually.
I was gonna say, because if you call her.
I just don't want to hold up the workshop and me looking for it. As well.
Okay. So yeah, we can give you
What kind of business are you
a little bit of time to.
Like I rolled in, like, hey, I'm here, y'all.
doing? So do you do
Communication. Did you fill anything else out?
Username, yeah,
How
so
long have you been in business?
choose the username, password, and all that. And make sure you write all this stuff down. Okay.
Because I was just like, listen, I need y'all to be
Where'd you do it?
monolithic so I can find it. Most good.
I'm gonna just hold you speak with GCA, so we just want to make sure that if you need, you're okay. Are you in GCA?
Not yet.
Oh,
I
good.
just found out about you guys yesterday, so.
Okay, well, wonderful, we're so glad to have
Your
you.
keyboard is very sensitive.
Oh, I know.
And
And special character, yeah.
if I can get this done today, auntie. It's one less thing for me to do.
And then,
Okay.
What is that? Oh, security question. One tip that I use, oh, and maybe I should be sharing this with everybody since it's not putting your password out there for everyone to see, right? Okay. Okay. That's great to come on. Again, oh, go ahead and click yes on that.
Or did you use
Yes. Okay, so guys, as on this, the very beginning of SAM, you are gonna have to get started where you have to put in your name, your email address, and then choose a username and password. That username's gonna have to be at least 6 characters. I think you've got 3 digits up there. But when you choose security questions, just because you want to make sure that you keep all this information handy, what I do, because I do this for clients often, is I choose city questions, and then, well, I mean, of course, you're doing it for yourself, so choose the ones that you can remember. But if you want it to be easy, because you're going to have 23 of these by the time you finish up with all the registrations, you can choose a city question and just make all the answers the same, like Atlanta or whatever city you happen to live in. Loganville, Lawrenceville.
Click next.
Yep. And then that is going to send an email, mandatory errors. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So no, it's the system is. Oh wait, no, it's you got to put the
It's looking for the.
And there we go. No space. So take that little space out. Yeah.
Very sensitive.
It is. It's stupid. It's not sensitive. It's ridiculous.
Okay, hold on. I might have to unplug it again for the password again.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be dots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that anyone wants to log into my account.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. All right, now let me try it again.
And just hit that orange thing so it goes away, and then you get next.
Okay.
Okay?
And you just said EIN number and a bank account number?
Yeah.
Okay.
So username has already been used. Oh, you've got to use a username that's unique.
Someone has Barcliff?
Yeah.
Is that another one?
So
Are we related?
Barcliff is kind of common though. I mean, when you think about there's 600,000 people registered in SAM. So, somebody has that last name.
Let's just put S Barcliff.
I was going to say, and then maybe put a number behind it.
Come on.
Will it not?
Yeah,
there we go.
Okay. That's Barcliff.
And then you got to add the password again.
Well, once you get through with this part,
Yeah.
I'm sure we're cooking with gas.
We will be cooking with gas, but of course there are difficulties and other speed bumps along the way.
That's okay.
Oh, somebody has a question, but I'll get them online.
Okay.
Yeah. Woohoo! Okay, so now we are sending an email to you. Submit. Okay, so you'll get an email from Sam. Okay. Once you get that, I'll give you an email address to forward that to. Hey, how are you? Okay. Good morning. Will there be video? And Third Eye, I know you emailed me today, but I can't remember what your first name is. So if you don't mind letting me know, tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes.
The individual online, I know you're hearing me because you've raised your hand before. So can you type in whether or not you see my screen? You weren't seeing my screen. How about now? I'm so sorry. User error. Yes. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry. We're recording this for posterity. And, hopefully Andrew can cut out all this mess. Thank you. He's always taking care of me. Okay. You got the EIN number? Great.
There's always more than one way I stand.
I was just to say, that's what I say all the time, more than one way to skin a cat. So if you don't mind emailing me that email you just received from Sam, please. Mail. And we got another question. Regina and Herbert. Herbert, yes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Is this an iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay, I usually hate iPhones. This is kind of nice. Contract source, okay. And return, how do I enter?
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's in, okay. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so Regina and Herbert, you probably heard all the shenanigans going on in here, but anyway, we have a guinea pig here in studio with us, if you will, and they have kindly allowed me to use them as the example for SAM registration. So we're going to be using their business for this. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this link. And what was it, S. Barcliff? And you're gonna have to come type in the password. Sorry, because that's pre-filled with mine. Sorry.
I appreciate this help because I know.
And then y'all let me know if the screen is big enough, if I need to make it bigger as we go through, please. Okay, confirmation, great. Okay, so now we are in. Okay, so once you sign in to SAM, you're gonna get a message like this. Hey, how's it going? Good. You're gonna get this usage agreement that is a federal computer system. You know, if you do anything wrong, penalty of perjury, yada, yada, going to jail, fines and all that good stuff. So don't do anything bad on this site, okay? So you're gonna accept that so that you can move forward. Once you're in, you know it's you because it's going to say welcome your name. And of course, I'm not Sharonica, but I'm going to be projecting her today. So the way we get started, can everyone see this? It's over here under entity registrations. Do you see that? So if y'all are, those of you with computers that haven't registered in SAM yet, if you've got your EIN, you've got your DUNS number, and you know your business bank account information, then you can actually walk through this with me. So, and the way you would start is you go up here to the very, very top in this corner, it would have a username and password field. And underneath it at sam.gov would be a little line that says, create access. Oh, you need a separate computer space? Do you need a separate thingy? Oh, there's.
Somebody sitting there. Yeah, somebody.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Is there somebody here too? Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. So anyway, but for those of you who are not following along and just watching me, then feel free to come along here. But entity registrations is where we're going to go. And we're going to register a brand new entity, okay? And then it tells you you're going to be going through all these different steps. And y'all stop me if I need to slow down, because I do this all the time for people so I can get it done in the time we have. But if you're doing it the first time yourself, reading through everything, give yourself about 2 hours for it. I mean, just to, she's like, wow, this is so worth it. Okay, so we're gonna start the registration. Okay, and then this error, this warning pops up. You need your DUNS number, you need your EIN number, you need your bank account and routing number. If you don't know the routing number, that's okay. I've worked at every major bank in the city, so I know them all. But if you don't have it, we can get it online as well. And then, your N-CAGE number, if you have one, most likely if you're just getting started in SAM, you will have no CAGE code whatsoever. So you don't need to worry about if you don't have a CAGE code, okay? And then you need to make sure that the address for your business, and I'm praying that that's correct, is the same as the address that's listed in Dun & Bradstreet. Because if there is a mismatch, then, this whole thing falls apart, okay? So we're going to continue. Okay, so purpose of registration is where we start. And it asks what type of entity you're registering. And for all of us, it's going to be a business organization. We are not a government agency, a tribe, or, well, I mean, unless you are a tribal company that's registering, that would be a Native American tribe, and you're registering, a tribal government or something. And the purpose of registering is because you want to be able to bid on federal contracts or other procurement opportunities. And you also want to be able to bid on grants. Okay, so that's the first one you're going to check. Alrighty, and next. Okay, so then this is just a summary page confirming the purpose, that you're registering for all awards, And then we're going to complete all of the following sections. And if you have any questions, feel free to either raise your hand online or interrupt me here in class. Okay, so Sharonica, do you mind coming up and typing in this information again for us? Okay, you can have a seat. I don't know if you like mice or not, but I've got a mouse there for you. So, and don't be concerned, your DUNS number is going to be out there in the public. So don't be concerned about the fact that people will know your DUNS number. That's how the government's going to find you, and that's how other business owners will know who you are. It is totally fine for that information to be out there in the public. Okay. And oh, where did all these come from? Is Andrew still up front?
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah. Thank you.
Is this sensitive to abbreviations?
What abbreviation do you have?
Highway, I'm not sure if I put the abbreviation.
Oh, yeah, well, it'll let us know if for some reason. On DNB, I would
Did they
guarantee,
abbreviate it?
well, no, that they would have the suite is probably gonna be on line 1, but we'll see if we get an error message with the
Okay.
address. Okay, and then hit next. Oh my gosh, we are successful. This is a miracle. This is a SAM miracle.
Now that you're looking at pieces, I can
Huh?
put it back.
Okay, yes. Okay, so then you get this. You get verified DUNS. So if the information is correct, and then this is a crazy example too. If you've got a business name with a "the" in it, then this is how it's going to be listed in DUNS. You see Barcliff Group, comma LLC, comma the, because her business name is the Barcliff Group LLC. But just keep in mind that the system is smart enough to understand that you entered the Barcliff Group LLC, but DUNS had it set up in its crazy format. Yes.
What about this sentence, just for example, a bar club, or any other
I mean, I don't know of any,
articles like a?
I mean, generally any article that's in front of your business name is going to be on the back of the name.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm. Okay,
One question.
yes.
How do you go, since mine is already set up on that page,
Uh-huh.
when my husband said, the name change did come in, so
Uh-huh.
how do I change that from that page?
Well, then what you have to do, and that's why we are not doing the DNB, why we're not doing the SAM registration for you now, because the way this works is we have to go to Dun & Bradstreet to change your name, and then Dun & Bradstreet talks to SAM. So then it takes 2-3 days for Dun & Bradstreet to register your name change. Then when you come in here to SAM to do this part, you're gonna get to this screen and it's gonna show the details from DNB, and you're gonna update the DNB record to confirm your new name change. Yeah, so everything with the name change, you can't do that in SAM. You have to start in Dun & Bradstreet, make those changes. Dun & Bradstreet reports to SAM, you gotta update SAM and then go through the process. Yeah, it's kind of brilliant in its craziness in that DNB will talk to both, not DNB, SAM will talk to Dun & Bradstreet, and SAM will also talk to the IRS. But, it's just, you can't do any fundamental changes in SAM. You have to do them in the other agencies, and then those agencies report in through SAM.
So that's even if, even if it hasn't been submitted yet, it's just, because it hadn't been submitted, that was just the only issue
With,
with SAM's.
so what do you mean it hasn't been submitted?
When I hit submit,
Uh-huh.
it sent me back an email stating that it failed to process because,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so in your case, because you have not gone through SAM yet, you're gonna be going through SAM just like this in the very beginning. And when you do, the DNB, the information returned from DNB that's here on the left-hand side of the screen
Right.
is going to show the new name once you finally get into registering. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. Alrighty. And if you've got questions online, Herbert, please feel free to let me know. Or Regina. Not sure if it's both of you, but anyway, you know what I mean. Okay, so where did my guinea pig go?
She went to use the phone.
Oh, there she is. It's like, Veronica, I need you. Okay. So your business month, day, and year it started? And that you'll have to get from Secretary of State probably.
Yes, I was like.
Okay. So I can do it. Georgia Secretary of State. Is it Georgia? Okay. Okay. The Bar Cliff Group. Okay. And this is probably what you're going to have to do as well, because very few of us remember the exact month, day, and year we were formed. 6/25/14. 06/25. Okay. And the fiscal year is always going to be 12/31, unless for some reason you've spoken to the IRS and you have changed your fiscal year in period.
So it's like a regular part of the rest of the world, month, day, and year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it tells you. No, it tells you exactly. I mean, I understand that some people work, with year, month, and day, and other formats, but yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you already have an existing business,
should
you, for the sake of this, start a new LLC or?
I would not. I mean, if you are doing business and now you're trying to segue the business that you do into government, then you want to do it with that business that you have in existence. And the reason is because otherwise, if you start a brand new LLC, it's like you're starting a company that's now 2 days old, as opposed to a business that you may have had for 5 years, running very successfully with tax returns and history.
Okay.
So
when you're going to move forward, when you're going to file for the contract, will that history matter?
Absolutely. That is like past performance. So that's like your resume. That's like the difference between hiring somebody that has 20 years experience or 5 years, however long your business has been up and running, as opposed to somebody that just graduated school and has no experience whatsoever. Yeah. So that makes a difference. Yeah. Okay. And then I need you again. Okay, so then everyone needs to create something called an MPIN. And I don't know what MPIN stands for. They never explain it, but it's basically a pin with an M in front of it. That's my definition, and I'm sticking to it. And it has to be at least 9 characters in length. And it can,
Marketing partner, we have to remember number.
Does it say where that?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. I learned something new today, Madeline. Yeah, so 9 characters, 9 digits, only alphanumeric is what the MPIN has to be.
Okay.
And then this is basically your signature on anything that you do in the SAM system and also some other systems, DSBS and a few others, but we'll get into that. I was gonna say.
Something I can remember.
Well, I mean, yeah, something you write down, because believe you me, once you get into this space and get down this rabbit hole, you're gonna have to create a spreadsheet with all the usernames and
I'm
passwords.
sorry, could you put more light on the screen in order that we have better?
Can you turn the light down so there's not so much glare on the wall?
Sure.
And see if that works?
Thank you, Richard.
They make it difficult.
Gracias.
Okay,
We must have one number.
And a
So it's
number.
be-
so it's,
Okay, so it has to be exactly 9 characters.
yeah,
Let's just do M1.
right.
There we go.
Okay. So, and make sure you write it so that, that, well, I mean, if you try to type in more than 9 digits, it's just gonna stop you. So.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, alrighty. So we've got our MPIN, we've got our good stuff. Okie dokie. And, sorry, need you again. And then, of course, the EIN number for the company. I know, I think I'm done with you. Well, no, maybe not, but yeah, so, yeah, you probably need to do that. Yeah,
Dash or no dash?
okay, no dash.
No dash, okay.
Yeah, you really do need to pull up a chair. How about we, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, because we're about to get into the hard stuff. Okay.
So by the time you get there,
Okay, so now we've got that part done. And then this is all the disclosure information talking about what I mentioned to you earlier. Did y'all have some questions? Did you have any questions for me? Okay, so the tax information, this is talking about what I mentioned earlier, that this is going to go to the IRS, confirm your EIN number that you put in. It's also going to go to DNB, confirm that number, and then it's going to come back. Once those two come back, then it'll come up with a match, and then it'll issue you a cage code and move forward, okay? So I'm going to, alrighty, the tax year, what you want to type in the tax year is the most recent filing year. Y'all, I imagine, have not filed your 2017 taxes yet, right? So we're going to put 2016 here. The individual giving consent is you. It's like G-R-I-N-O.
just like
Oh,
Veronica. But,
yeah,
oh,
E-R-O. Okay, there we go. Barcliff. And what is your title?
It's owner or principal.
Principal. A-L or L-E?
It's A-M.
Okay.
Same thing on my business card.
I know. Okay, and then your MPIN, if you can type that in again, what was that? M?
M number 1. Yep. 1F.
Okay, alrighty. And then save, continue.
So that number was provider.
And that is not your social, that is the EIN for the business, right?
What?
14218. Yeah. Insure value, oh, taxpayer's name, we probably need to type that in there, that's my problem. Yes, make sure you read the instructions. Crapola. Did it screw me up? Copy mailing address. Okay, there we go. Okay, I will forget that the second you walk away, but anyway, I'm pretty good at remembering numbers. There we go. Okay, and then here it asks whether or not you have a cage code. And like I said, if this is your very first time going into SAM, you will not have a cage code. So hit that you do not have a code, and then save and continue. Okay. Okay, and here we're going to start getting into some of the detailed questions. It asks if another entity owns or controls the entity that you're registering. So if you are, have a parent company and you're registering the child company, then that would be the reality here. But in this case, I imagine it's a no. And we're going to go ahead and continue. Are you a successor to a predecessor that's held a federal contract or a grant within the last 3 years? Basically, what they're asking is, let me try to see if I can come up with an example. Let's say that you just got into the 8A well, that's probably not real because you would already be in SAM. But anywho, let's say somebody is working a contract, a business owner that you know, and they offer to have you come in as a subcontractor. And then what happens is when that contract renews, you take over that contract. So you are now the successor to a predecessor that held a contract before in the previous 3 years. So you would click yes there. But in this example, there's a no. Okay, why? And then of course it gives you examples of, if you click anywhere around the question or answer, it'll pop up a little box that gives you further explanations on the different things. Your country of incorporation is the United States. And it is in alphabetical order. Make sure you click US and not the US and other minor outlying islands because you're not in Puerto Rico or Virgin Islands. And you are Georgia Corporation. Gosh, this is really sensitive, isn't it? Okay, highest security level. If you have no security clearances for your company, then click not applicable. Now, I know some of you are former military. If you still have active security clearances, then indicate what your individual highest employee security level is. So like if you're the president of the company and you still have a secret, top secret clearance or what have you, you can indicate that here. If it's not applicable, put not applicable, okay? And then this goes into, it's very important we complete these questions accurately, because if you screw up something here, that's going to restrict your ability to later get into programs like 8A or HubZone and some of those. And I remember a client from years ago, when I first started my business, they'd done their own SAM registration and didn't know where the hiccup was, but it wouldn't let us get into the 8A application. And it's because he had one of these things checked. I think that he was a hospital or foundation or something. So none of these are applicable. You're not a community development corporation. You're not a domestic shelter, educational institution. You know, if any of these are applicable, then of course check it, but you are not. And if you have to ask the question, what is it? Then that means it probably isn't you. Because you'd know if you were. Okay, so is your entity certified by state transportation agency? If you have been certified by the DOT, then go ahead and click yes, but if not, click no there. Native American corporate entity type, if you are not Native American, then this is not applicable to you, so don't bother checking those. And then, did I miss one? Organizational factors. And you need to check which ones apply to your company. And if none apply, then click not applicable. But you are not foreign owned. You are not a small agricultural cooperative. You are a limited liability company. So we will check that one. And then, yeah, that's the one that's appropriate. And then entity structure. This is how you file taxes according to the IRS. And in your case, as an LLC, you know, an LLC can either file a Schedule C on your personal taxes. It can file a separate 1120S if you're filing as a S corporation, or a 1065 if it's you and another person and you're filing as a partnership. So this is telling Sam how you file taxes according to the IRS.
Schedule C.
Okay. And you are filing as a sole proprietorship, and that would be on your personal tax returns. You're filing a Schedule C. Okay.
LLC, how's the way that we should present?
What?
LLC,
What about it?
what is the selection that we do a LLC on the entity?
The entity structure part?
In here.
Yeah. I mean, as an LLC, you can be a corporate entity, non-tax exempt.
Okay.
That would be if you are choosing, like my business, my LLC, I file as an S corp. So that I select on this one, corporate entity, non-tax exempt on my SAM registration.
But also could be.
But it could also be partnership. If the LLC is you and somebody else, and you've chosen to file your taxes as a partnership, and you file a 1065, or is it 1165? No, it's a 1065, I think, with the IRS, then that would be a partnership.
Thank you.
But you can just look to the tax, to your tax form, and that would indicate which one of these you need to check. And then of course, sole proprietorship means that you're filing that Schedule C on your personal returns.
Thank you.
Any questions on this so far? Okay. And then profit structure. Keep in mind, only for-profit businesses are eligible for things like 8A certification, HubZone, that sort of thing. So if you're a not-for-profit company, that's great, but you won't be eligible for some of those programs, some of the set-aside programs. Okay. So I imagine you're for-profit, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And then socioeconomic categories. These are, you have the ability to self-select these. And that, huh?
No, Sam needs to.
Okay, are you any of these? Well, obviously you're a woman. Mm-hmm. Are you a vet? that part I figured out. But did you say you're a veteran or no?
No, veteran.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so, and then woman-owned small business. Okay, and let me do something here first, and then we're gonna check black. Okay, so the socioeconomic categories are for you to self-select. So obviously she's a woman, she's a minority, and Black American owned are the ones we checked. She's also a woman-owned small business, but we do not check this box yet until you've gone through the process of completing that woman-owned small business certification on the certified.sba.gov website. So once we've done this, because you got to do this before you can do that.
Okay.
So you do this, once you get the codes here, then you can do that. And then once you do that, you got to come back in here and update this.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'm going to click here just to further confuse you or further clarify, whichever one you want to call it. Once you've done this, once you check that you're a woman-owned small business, you can also check that you're an economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business. But again, it's very important that you do not check these boxes until you've done that certification in certified.sba.gov. The regulations that changed, I think it was January of 2016, is what, they used to say that the woman-owned small business is a self-certification process, but they changed the rules saying that you basically, all the jibber jabber in the regulation was saying that if you're checking this box by not having done that, then you're committing fraud. So you just don't want to do this until you've gone through and done the other.
Wow.
And there was a lot of, I got to find those articles. Yeah, but there's a lot of confusion about what that meant, that you can no longer self-certify, and that's not what they were saying. What the rules said is that by doing this, you can still self-certify, but you have to make sure you do before you indicate that you have that status. Okay, any questions? Good? Clear as mud? Yes, ma'am.
What's the website again?
Certified.sba.gov, GOV. Now keep in mind that certified.sba.gov talks to SAM. So when you log in to certified.sba.gov, it's going to ask you to put in your DUNS number, your MPIN, and your cage code. So if you've not done SAM, you don't have a cage code and an MPIN yet. So they're all linked. Yeah. You will be assigned a cage code once this is approved. And any other questions? Okay. All righty. So do you accept credit cards as a method of payment? Okay, I was going to say. Yes.
Sorry, I know there are certification for business, like green business or another kind of business.
But,
I didn't see options here.
like what, green, you mean? Like, that won't be indicated here. You mean like an what is the one, LEED certified and all that kind of stuff? Yeah. There is a separate site that we'll get to once the SAM registration is complete,
This is what I imagined.
where it asks for some of those where you can put in those.
Thank you, is what I imagined. I just
Okay.
wanted to confirm. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
no problem. Okay, so do you accept credit cards as payment? You happen to accept it? Even if you do not, please check yes. Okay, I mean, literally, you can go to an app on your phone, you can get Square. The government can get you a $3,000 contract with literally the swipe of a card. Please check it. That's right, yeah, the regulations that just changed, it went up to $10,000. So come on, don't skip out on business because you haven't accepted credit cards yet. Okay, that's one of those silly mistakes. Okay, and then account information. Yeah. Okay. Did you get routing number 2? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I might want to unplug this thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm unplugging. Thank you for saying that. And we got to be careful because if I hit that button, then the whole thing goes off. Okay, there we go. And I think, did I screw it up? Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I need to unshare the screen here. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I can't work without a mouse. There we go. Okay, so.
Could you repeat your name for the ones that are writing?
Sharonica.
It's like Veronica.
It's like Veronica.
Veronica.
Or call me Ronnie. That's my nickname.
Ronnie?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So this is where we have the whole music playing while Sharonica enters the personal
I
information.
know, the elevator music.
What about on the,
I didn't show the screen. Yeah. Thank you. The computer was smart enough to indicate when I unplugged it, like, wait a minute, this pop-up box comes up. So I'm like, oh, thank you.
Quick
Yes.
question for you while she's doing that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I went in there and I did a lot of this last night and said it's in process. So I'm gonna go back in here and make changes. How, can you do that? Or how does
Not
that
while
work?
it's in process.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, you have to wait till it's approved, and very good point, because, Johnson just asked whether or not you can make changes to it. Once your SAM registration is current and active, you can make any changes that you need to. But keep in mind that the system is so quirky that if you go in and make a change, you literally have to enter all the way to the end and resubmit. Otherwise, you end up with an application that's it's like currently pending or in process or inactive or whatever. So just keep in mind, anytime you go back in to make a change, you gotta have time to sit there and enter through the whole thing to get to the end to make it active again.
So the advice is wait until you are accepted, and once that you're accepted, then you go to tools and convert.
Yes, modification or change or whatever, yes.
Yeah, it's the more efficient ways.
Exactly.
And I have a question.
Yes, I'll use his case
Uh-huh.
as an example. He already has an existing business,
Uh-huh.
an LLC for
Okay.
35
Is it bank
years.
address or my address? I'm sorry.
Your address is correct, yeah. And I'm sorry, existing business and what was
For the
the,
past 5 years, and
Okay.
he has no dance number.
well, that's fine, that's easy. You could just go to Dun & Bradstreet and you can get a DUNS number for the business. And the more important thing, if we have enough time, I think we'll have enough time when I finish this, I can hop onto D&B. The way Dun & Bradstreet works is kind of like credit. You know how, well, I guess it's not really like credit. Anyway, it's like its own thing. But Dun & Bradstreet will build organically. So if you've had a business for 5 years and you've done any business with any other vendors or customers, then they have reported probably how you've paid them. So you may very well have a DUNS number that you don't know about because your business has credit and has already been establishing it over the past 5 years. So we'll go into that system and I'll show you how to find that number. Because having been around for 5 years, you probably already have a number. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
And if I have a business that I really just registered, but I have not been using, have not been active, for sure I don't have a deal.
You probably do not have a DUNS number for a business that's not been active or you've not been doing anything. And Regina Herbert, can you let me know if you can see the screen again? Just raise your hand if you can see it. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, and this should be, oh, good. And y'all can see it too. That is a little, not very bright, is it? I wonder if it's my screen. How do I turn the brightness up on my screen? Oh, no, it's as bright as it can be. Okay. Huh? Yeah, we turned the lights down on the front already. I think they might not be as dim as they can go, but you can play around with that. Okay, so now we're getting into the executive compensation questions and some of the other questions. So this is saying, is your business organization's preceding completed fiscal year, did your business receive both of the following? 80% or more of their gross revenue from federal contracts, subcontracts, loans, grants, etc., and 250 million or more in annual gross revenues from contracts. I imagine both of those are not true. Okay, so that would be a no. Is that, wait, is that?
She said that you need to put I wish.
Okay. Did your business receive? No, they did not. Okay, I just sometimes have to ask my question again. Okay, so, and because we checked no there, this question is grayed out. I'm gonna check yes here so you can see the difference. See, if we checked yes, we'd have to answer this question as well. But because we checked no, that one is not applicable. Do you see? Okay. And I think we got a question on, okay, so you are not seeing any, oh, darn. Yeah. Show screen. Oh, that's because I unplugged them and forgot to show it again. Okay, so now tell me if you can see my screen. I should be on a different one. Let me put your hand down. Now raise your hand again if you can see the screen. Okay, and tell me if the screen you see, does it say proceedings? Where are we? Attendees. question. Yes, it does. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just making sure the webinar is recorded. Okay. So is your business organization, I don't know why they just can't ask simple questions. Why do lawyers have to get involved in everything? So is your business responding to a federal procurement opportunity that contains the FAR provision, this one, and subject to the other FAR clause, or applying for a federal grant that contains award terms? And you're like, what the heck does this mean, right? Is what you're probably saying right now. Am I right? Okay, trying to make this a little smaller. Well, that's where Google comes in. So we are going to copy this FAR code, stick it right into Google. FAR stands for Federal Acquisition Regulation, and this gives us the FAR code. And we want to see if this is applicable to us. Because I do these so much, I know the answer, but I want you to know where to find the answer so that, you know, if I'm not with you, you know where to go. Okay, so where's the beginning of this? Here we go. Organizational conflicts of interest. Okay, so what is the question again? And let me pull this down and do like this. Oh, darn. I hate when I have my webinar on, I can't use my magic mouse to spread out my screen. So we just have to play with it the way it is. So it's asking, is your business responding to a federal procurement that contains this particular FAR provision? And the FAR provision is outlined here, asking, you know, if your contract, if the contract that you're working, identifies you as a marketing consultant, routine engineering or technical services, and it goes on to further things. Legal, actuarial, accounting services, training services. But right now you're not working any federal contracts, so we can safely answer this question, no. And because we've answered it no, all of these others are not applicable. Okay, save and continue. Let me see what we need here. Nothing. Okay. And this is very important. This is asking if you want to be included in the SAM search authorization. So, and you're checking the box saying to include my entity's non-sensitive information in a SAM public search. They're not posting your EIN number. Okay. They're not posting your bank account details, but they are posting your name, your DUNS number, revenues, that sort of thing, services, NAICS codes, PSC codes, and all that stuff, and we're getting into those in a second. So please, please, please check this box. If you do not check this box, that means agencies cannot find you, okay? That means nobody searching DSBS for your business or for your NAICS codes will ever see that you exist to do this work. And what's the point of doing this if no one can figure out that you do this? So please, don't, you know, this is unfortunately a full disclosure game. If you want to play in the space, you gotta be willing to have people find you. Okay, this is a quick summary that just summarizes everything that we've put in so far. Just gonna go through that quickly. And at the bottom, save and exit, save and continue. Of course, in your case, you want to make sure all that information is correct. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. Okay, so the assertions. This is where we identify what you do as a business, okay? So the way to find, well, they're asking for your NAICS codes, and it's NAICS, like rakes or lakes or bakes. Please don't go to a contracting officer and say Naxos or NAICS or something crazy, because then they just roll their eyes at you afterwards. Like lakes, like if Lake Lanier. Lakes, but it's with an N, NAICS. Yeah. So just put an N in front of NAICS or bakes or lakes or rakes. Okay, yeah. So just think of rake, lake, bake, and then put an N in front of it and add an S on the end. Okay. So we need to identify your NAICS codes, and then we're also going to identify your product service codes. Okay. So let me show you where to find those. If you do not know what your NAICS codes are, every business has at least one. Most businesses have more than one. But what your NAICS codes do is identify what it is that you do, make, or sell, okay? So the best place to do it, the best source is census.gov/NAICS, NAICS. And that stands for North American Industry Classification System. And, you know, this took over, I think it was in 2012 or 2008 from what did SIC stand for? Standardized or Standard Industry Classification were the codes before? Or Standard Industry Codes? Yeah. Okay, so here at census.gov/NAICS, it's a great tool. It has an amazing search function. So we literally just type in keywords. So what do you do?
Healthcare consulting.
Healthcare. Okay. And it tells us all these different codes. Home healthcare supply merchants, medical services, hospitalization, group insurance, health, and you said consultant. Okay. Does it fall under this one? Okay, and the good thing is once you find one that you think matches, click on the blue hyperlink and then you get more details about it. Okay.
It's more about accreditation and quality.
Oh, okay, so,
Sorry.
no problem. So, let's try consultant and see what comes up here. Real estate into medical office. Okay. And educational consultants may have a component too. Okay, so administrative management, and this is so broad, but I'm sure this is going to fit for you. Okay, so advice to businesses, financial planning, budgeting, equity, asset, records, management, office planning, strategic organizational, business startup, business.
It's highlighted.
Yeah. Okay, and then it gives some examples here. Financial, general, medical office management, records management, reorg, consultation, site location, site selection. Okay, so this is you. So go ahead and write this down. So 541611 is one of your codes.
611.
And keep in mind, all NAICS codes are 6-digit. Okay. Now, do you do anything like billing and all that kind of stuff? Record keeping?
No.
Okay.
Accounts receivers.
Okay, now operations consulting? Do you do some of that? Okay, so we're going to click on, the other great thing about this is once you click into the details of a NAICS code, read the cross references because some of those cross references may apply to you and your business. So we're going to click on this 541641. Don't write it down yet, but let's see if this applies to you too. 614.
Quality, Six Sigma.
Oh, okay. So lean and all those process improvements. Gotcha. Logistics consulting. Okay. Freight, tariff, inventory. I don't know if this is you. Yeah. Okay. So this would, I don't think they're going to have lean and Six Sigma in here, but let's see. Nope. Yes. Quality. So like quality assurance training. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yep. Okay. So this is going to be your primary one. 611430. Okay. Wow. You're thinking just like Sam. What is that number again?
It's
611430. We're going to search for, you silly machine. Why are you moving? Okay. And every once in a while, Sam will do this. So very frustrating, but you're in the middle of your little profile and then it just does this. Oh my gosh. Well, everything. What is it? Yeah, you know, because we saved and continued throughout the whole thing. What was your
The end number or
username?
the?
No, the first.
S bar cliff.
Okay. Okay, and then if you can type in your password, please. Sorry, guys. The good thing is that, you know, at the bottom, every time we hit through, it said save and continue. So it saved what we had up to this point.
I don't think I put it in right.
Okay. Oh, and make sure I've got the,
I forgot that quick. I forgot I had so many passwords.
yep, there we go. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, sorry, guys. I'm gonna quickly go through this so we can get to where we're going. This will be a flurry entity. Oh, crap. Registrations. Existing entity registrations. Barcliff Group. Update entity. Okay, so this is a good example here. If you are needing to update your SAM profile, you come into your entity registrations and type in existing entity registrations. And then when you scroll down, it'll show your business name. You click on it and then it brings you these two records here. So it shows a complete record and it shows an incomplete record. If you ever go into SAM and you're making an update and you forget to enter your way through, what's going to happen is your record's incomplete and it'll be living here waiting for you to finish it. So this is the incomplete record and now we're just going to update it. So thankfully, as you can see, because we got through the core data section, core data is all complete and we were in assertion. So we just got to save and continue our way through this. So annoying. And there's no easy way to get around this, people. It's just ridiculous. Come on. I wonder if view core data. Oh, yeah, you can get to the end of the section once the section is complete, but it's going to make us start over from where we were. Thankfully, we were at the front. What was it? 6114?
430.
Okay. And search and add. And then it should show down there. And the next one was 541611. Go away, search and add. And then we check the one that's primary. Okay. So PSC codes, why is it not? Oh, okay. PSC codes. So PSC codes are product service codes. Okay. And these codes, the best place that I know to find them is through a local resource we have called Georgia Tech Procurement Assistance Center. So go to GTPAC, PAC. And usually it's the first one that pops up. Okay. And under there, they have a useful links section. Okay. And when you click under useful links, it's like the fifth one down, I think it is. The FSC PSC search. And oh man, my screen is formatted crazy now. And this is the place where you go to find it. The product service codes are, you know, if you're a service provider, you're going to have product service codes. They're also FSC codes, federal supply codes, and that would be for any kind of product. So if you sell industrial supplies, weapons, lawnmowers, anything tangible, then that's going to be under an FSC code, whereas your services are all going to be listed under PSC codes. In your case, you're probably going to fall under R, professional, oops, sorry. Oh, medical, you might fall under medical. Let's see.
I think I like more on the clinical side.
Okay.
Where? Psychiatric.
Where? Which one?
It did say consultation services, but not psychiatric.
Okay, gotcha. Coding. Will this one apply? Other medical services?
It could. Yeah.
What about clerical medical support? Is that?
If it's not speaking to, does it have a description?
It doesn't, unfortunately.
It could.
Okay,
it's
so
on the administrative part, then like an AA.
Okay, so let's do Q999. And then once you, you know, because I'm so crazy. Well, I mean, it's not that I'm crazy. I'm kind of a nerd. And when I first started my business, I didn't know any of these resources. So I had to find all the information for myself. So I literally stumbled upon the site where all this stuff lives and exists. So I know the meaning behind all the code. So, you know, of course, they tell you here what all the letters mean, but any 999 is going to be an other category. So you'll know in every one of these, whether it's A, B, C, D through the rest of them. Yeah, but it's kind of fascinating how they put it together, and it makes logical sense once you know the method behind the madness. Okay, so that's the Q one. Your R codes, yes, ma'am.
When you're putting the P, the C codes, and the other one, the max, should you put as many as
Yeah,
apply to you?
I would, as long, for NAICS codes, you probably don't want any more than 10 NAICS codes. I mean, just because beyond that, you start looking like a jack of all trades and a master of none. I mean, and especially you don't want to put in a code that says that you are a you know, clinical or what did you call it? A quality consultant, and you also are a demolition expert. I mean, you know, you just, you want it to kind of be logical. You want it to make sense where it all does any of these. And keep in mind, if something is red, it is no longer an active code.
So
Yeah.
slash, I was looking at
407, I figured.
Yeah, 407 can take off. 409 we can take off. So
Okay.
that leaves 406, 408.
Okay, and does 410, because 410 is a new one that came in, and they usually bring in a new one to replace ones that are kind of obsolete. So would that work? Program evaluation, review, and development? Okay, so 410 is one. Okay. Yes, ma'am?
If a company was registered before and they had the codes before and they happens to have one red code
Uh-huh,
and they didn't knew this,
right.
how will it happen?
I mean, it's not going to be anything bad. But I don't know if it actually goes away from SAM. I would think that at some point SAM probably scrubs, because, you know, just like SAM talks to DNB and IRS and all this, it talks to all these resources that gather information. So I imagine if a code goes away, by the time it gets to the regulatory authority and SAM communicates to it, it'll just disappear off of your profile eventually.
And then you will have some warning to go and look at
I'm
something.
pretty positive you will have no warning.
No warning?
Yes, the onus is on you to kind of keep it updated, and you have to update this once a year anyway. You do get an alert from SAM that once a year your renewal, your registration is about to expire. So every year when you go in to renew it, take a look at the codes to make sure that nothing's changed or one of the red codes is there now where you used to have it listed. Yeah.
Is there a certain number?
No. Go ahead. Yeah, write as many as you see that are appropriate. Okay, thank you.
2, 3, 4.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other professional services, does that cover you? Okay, 499.
So, okay, that's what you said.
Okay. Okay. Sweet. All righty. So now let's start typing in codes. What was the Q one first?
The 4, I forgot to put a star on it.
Oh no, and then there are no stars on
Oh,
this one.
Q
Q999. Okay. Okay. Search, add. Okay, and then the other ones are all R codes. R.
406.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's 408.
Okay. Okay.
410.
Okay.
And 420.
What is that?
I don't know.
That sounds like a.
And then the last
Okay.
499.
Okay. Well, don't open the door, because as long as it's not in here with us, we are good. Okay, gotcha. So that's the codes. Now keep in mind with the product service codes, unfortunately, this system, it gives you the broad categories over here, like research and development, architecture, engineering, social services. You may have to do some hunting to find yourself in these. Like if you're a janitorial supply company, there's no real obvious place where that lives, but it lives, I think it's under S, utilities and housekeeping. Okay, I guess that is obvious. But so take your time with this to go through. and find these codes for yourself. And it might make better sense to do that before you get into SAM, so that your SAM doesn't time out while you're in there looking, and then you're like, ah! Done that many a time. Okay, and then the average revenue, how long have you been in business?
Since 2014, but the last year's been the first revenue.
Okay, and what was that amount?
1,500 is very low.
Okay, and that's fine. We've got one employee. We're just getting started. Okay. And EDI information, this is not applicable to your businesses. Because we're running short on time, I can't go into the details of why, but you know, if y'all have questions about that, then we can talk about that afterwards. Do you wish to be included in disaster response registry? If you are a business like where you kind of do debris hauling, stuff like that, you absolutely want to indicate this. You want to indicate a yes here and then provide all this information. Depending on the, you know, where your business is, that may not be something you want to do. So medical services quality. There might be some FEMA opportunities, but you can always do that later. You can come back and add those. But for now, we're going to hit no and then move on. And this is one of those, again, where because we put no, it grayed out the rest of it. If you answered yes to this, you'd need to indicate your bonding levels if that was required and all of that. Okay. And then assertions, a summary. This is just all a summary of the NAICS codes that we've chosen and the PSC codes. And then also, you know, do your homework. Go back and look at the NAICS codes and see if there are any other codes that are applicable to your business, because we only have 2, and I would wager there are probably a few more that encompass what you do. And then you can always come back and update your profile after it's set up.
Is there an average number of codes that someone would have, or just
it just depends on the nature of your business. I mean, you know, like some IT businesses generally have 4 to 6 because they do custom computer programming and software, and you know, just it depends on the nature of the work. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting into the what they call representations and certifications, and this is where it gets a little tricky, guys. And this part, I'm going to run through this pretty quickly because we've only got like 7 minutes left. And I know how to answer all the questions, but this is where you want to spend the most time if you're doing this yourself. So you want to actually go through the process of where it asks you something here and it references a FAR code and you don't quite understand the question. Please click the hyperlink so you can learn more. And I'll do that with one of these in particular. But yeah, because you don't want to misrepresent anything, because again, back to government system, penalty of perjury, prison time, fines. Okay, so just keep those things in mind. Okay, so who are the persons associated? We got to add a new person, type in your information. Sharonica. Oh, it pre-filled it. And what did you say, principal? Okay. And we are going to, and for some reason it says close or delete. And, you know, it's like, well, how do I add? That would be the obvious one. Does the Barcliffe group have any other plants or facilities? And that would be a no, I imagine, right? Your 10 is on file. For products designated by the EPA, you do does a percentage of the recovered material meet the EPA guidelines? In your case, we're going to put vendor will provide information with specific offers. We don't want to answer this no, because we don't want them thinking that we're not in compliance with EPA regulations. But the fact is that your business is not subject to the requirements. And some of these answers we'll see a little later as I go through it. Okay. Is the Barcliffe Group a small business concern? Yes, you are a small business concern. Oh well, sorry. This is a no. This is a small business concern that wishes to be considered for status as a labor surplus supply area. And that is no, because there are no labor surplus supply areas here in the state of Georgia. There are very few, but we don't have time to go through and for me to identify, help you identify those. Is the Barcliffe Group owned or controlled by a common parent? And the answer to that is no. You are owned and controlled by yourself. Records indicate there's not an active exclusion for the Barcliffe Group. That means you're not blacklisted. But they're asking, are any of the principals currently disbarred, suspended, or proposed for disbarment because you've done some bad stuff with the government? And the answer to that is no. Are there any of its principals? No, you're not disbarred. In the past 3 years, have any of your principals been convicted or had a civil judgment rendered for commission of fraud or any of that kind of stuff? No. In the past 3 years, has the company been notified of delinquent federal taxes that exceed $3,500 that remain unsatisfied? Are any of its principals presently indicted? Okay. Have you been terminated for cause? That means you were asked to leave a contract because you didn't perform. Okay. You have no HUB-zone businesses that you're participating with. You are not participating in the woman-owned small business joint venture. You're not participating in a ED-WOSB joint venture. And do you have any data that qualifies as limited rights data or restricted computer software? That would be no. Yes, very. Okay, and there's like 5 pages of this. Okay, you have an entity structure of a sole proprietorship. Are you a disadvantaged business? So that means for these, it tells you what the categories are. For the 2 codes you've chosen, professional management development and administrative management and general consulting, your codes are 11 million and 15 million respectively. So you are definitely small. So we're going to hit yes here. And keep in mind, you want to kind of be strategic about your business. Let's say you choose all the NAICS codes and you get to here, and one of your codes is a $30 million code and the other one is a $7 million code. You're like, you might want to see if there's a way that you can legally, I'm not saying you want to do anything that's not true, make it so that the bulk of your business lies in your $30 million code, because that means as long as you are less than $30 million, you are still small and still eligible for contracts and opportunities with the government. Otherwise, you'd be adhering to that $7 million cap. And, of course, both of them may sound far, far away, but as you start winning contracts, you can easily meet and exceed that 7 million, a lot more so than you can 30 million, especially when they look at a 3-year average. Okay, so keep that in mind. Do you deliver any end products that are listed, that are on the list of products required? Federal certification as a forced or indentured child labor exclusion. So no, you don't have any products where you're using child labor. And have you held previous subcontracts that are subject to the federal acquisition regulation? I'm going to click on this really quick just so you can see how easy it is. If you click on the FAR reg, it's going to open up that in a separate screen. And I know I'm like almost at time. Well, I thought it lasted until 12. Oh, okay, it does. Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay, what was the regulation again? It was 222222. Okay, so the offer represents that it has or hasn't participated in contracts subject to the equal opportunity clause. But okay, I gotta quickly finish this. Oops, sorry. So we're going to say no, you've not had any previous contracts or any end products delivered to the government by, or any of those products foreign end products. And you want to say no, you don't have any foreign end products. And have you filed all of your EEOC compliance reports? We're going to say no here, but question number 2, says that Barcliff has not had any previous contracts subject to written affirmative action program requirements. So that's the one we're going to choose to explain the no reason. Do you provide maintenance, calibration, and repair of technology and scientific equipment? No. And because you answered no there, the rest are not applicable. Save. Got 2 more pages of this, and then we're about done. Okay. I know the answer to this one, but for your reference, you'd want to click on this to find out what all those requirements are. You don't provide any of the services. They include like commercial investment services, leasing, calibration of scientific equipment, used car sales, and all that kind of stuff. I said yes, and it's supposed to be no. But if it's yes, you've got to answer the following question. So Johnson Scott, y'all need to keep that in mind when you go into here. Make sure you look at question 25. Inverted domestic corporation, the answer to that is no. You are not the subsidiary of an inverted domestic corporation. You don't have any federal unpaid tax liabilities. You've never been convicted of a felony. You didn't receive $7.5 million or more in federal contracts in the last fiscal year. And all those others are grayed out. Save and continue. And if you had received $7.5 million or more in contracts, you'd have to answer some additional questions. Okay, so it indicates that the NAICS codes that you've chosen, that you haven't selected these NAICS codes, and these apply to architects, engineers, and that sort of thing. If you were one of those, it asks you some additional questions, and you'd have to fill out that SF 330, okay? And do you wish to bid on any DoD contracts? Okay, so we're gonna hit yes. And do you anticipate that any supplies will be transported by sea? Since you offer services, I would say no. And your prices will not be based on a foreign government. And you are not in effect owned by a foreign government. And a foreign entity does not have an ownership interest in your company. And the foreign entity doesn't plan to, or you don't launch satellite services. You don't offer commercial satellite services, and nothing with commercial satellite services, apparently. And they always add more questions on SAM. I think that might be due to some regulations that come about. So keep in mind, every time you go into SAM, if you're just paging through these questions, you may get an error saying that you forgot to answer one, and it might be one that they just added brand new. Okay, so here, ideally, you'd want to go in and read all these FAR clauses. And believe me, the first time I did it, I did. Just because I'm a nerd.
You're not a nerd.
So, yeah.
You're just very efficient.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I needed to know what I needed to know so that I could help other people not have to read it. And anyway, you're saying that you did read the FAR regulations. So if you ever suffer from insomnia, come back in here, print those out. I swear you will be out like a, did I just do? Oh my God. Oh, thank God. I was like, no. Okay. So now, point of contact information. If you can just type in name and all that good stuff. Yes, ma'am. Somebody question?
I just wanted to share with all of you, there is a wonderful password manage that you have in your computer and will fill all this up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need to go out.
Really?
LastPass and it's free.
LastPass?
LASS.
Okay.
PASS. You have your telephone, in your computer, and any computer you go, you put your LastPass code. You get it, you have everything.
Oh my God. See, I don't know why I'm afraid of those.
Me too.
I feel like, okay, so what if LastPass they get all my stuff?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so now okay, excuse me for a second. We're going to do accounts receivable. Oh, accounts receivable and copy.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, but I think this one asks for an address, so fill that in for me, please.
Yeah, it has it all saved.
Oh, yes, love it. Okay, and then do that drop down, and we're gonna use electronic. Yeah, and then copy. Okay, and then on the very, very, very bottom, we don't need that one. I don't think. Do we need a government? Yeah. Copy from electronic. Because that one has the address. Okay, and then scroll all the way down, and then save and continue. Okay, now I gotta figure out. I forgot to hold my mouth right.
I didn't put the dash.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now we're gonna copy from AR POC. Copy. And then the other ones are gonna copy from electronic POC. Okay. Okay, and then
Let's try it again.
yeah.
Good.
No. Okay, yeah, that's not a bad error.
Oh, okay.
That's just, okay, so it's actually perfect timing. Okay, so this is the very end. Again, we're at the summary page, entity review. Of course, we want to review this for accuracy. For the sake of time, we can't do that.
And
So
you
we're,
want to print?
huh?
Is there any way that being
You can print the screen. It takes you to a next one that offers you the option to print, but it's literally just the summary. But you get the, please provide mandatory data in all pages. Entity review. Oh, I forgot to check the button that I reviewed it all. Where's the button? Yeah, but it used to be right before the FAR thing. They
Maybe
used
you
to
need
not have
expand. Maybe you need to expand.
reps and certs. By submitting, submit,
You have to be in a certain browser.
better not
I
be.
think if you want to
Other
expand.
mandatory data and others. Please provide mandatory data and others.
There is expand all.
Will you expand?
There, expand all.
Well, I mean, all of them are expanded.
Okay, maybe once you expand, you will see that part.
And others. See, there used to be a check mark right before the by there. And now I don't see it. Woo! Mandatory errors in others. Do you see a section that says others? Okay. Oh, come on. Ah. Reps and certs. I have read. Okay, you know what? Well, we got through the reps and certs, right?
So this was the last part?
This is the last part, yeah. Small business, SBA profile, that's what it was.
Yeah, that was a side menu.
Yeah, but that was, no, you're not gonna let me proceed here? You cannot do this to me. Okay,
That's the same over there sometimes. And I
Did
don't
it?
know- Yeah, I don't know if that's the reason why it keeps emailing back at work. Can't submit our stuff.
Okay.
Okay, point of contact details is not checked. So maybe we didn't enter this. Save and continue. Haha. Ah, no. Do you see what Sam? Yeah.
Get the same thing on my screen.
And that's usually, that just gives us the ability to go in and do the DSBS portion of the profile, but it still should allow us to submit this.
Is there a help desk number that you can call?
Yes. Okay, so we'll have to do that when we finish up. Okay, but we are pretty much done with class, and I think we got a few final announcements
Yes.
that we want to announce, but yeah, don't leave because I
So
gotta
thank
make sure we
you,
fix.
Myra, for getting us through SAM.
You are quite welcome. Thank you,
I
thank
hope
you.
all enjoyed and picked up on some great points on how to get your registration completed at SAM. And for those who are not members of GCA, I just want to invite you to consider being a member of GCA. We offer one is being able to